I want you to listen to this audio and understand the agenda of the World Bank against the food supply in Africa, especially Nigeria.
4 kilos of ginger was sold at 5,000 naira in 2023, but guess how much it's sold now? 35,000 naira. This is not because of inflation, but because Nigerian government signed two of the most horrible contracts I'm about to tell you in this video. The first contract, the Ginger Appeal Project with Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. 2023, Nigeria was one of the largest exporter of ginger in the whole world. We exported over 26 billion naira worth of ginger. But 2017, during Buhari administration, the World Bank approached the Ministry of Agriculture. They said, "We know you are one of the biggest exporter of ginger in the world, but do you know with our help, whatever results you have now can be tripled. Let's give you a loan of $200 million to support your farmers. Give them quality ginger seed to produce more ginger." A very enticing offer. And in the history of Nigeria agricultural sector, that project was the worst thing that happened to us. Nigerian ginger farmers in Kaduna had two ginger seeds, UG1 and UG2. In Hausa, they were called Kafingiwa, and these ginger were one of the best ginger in the whole world. But the World Bank told them to throw away the local seed, that the GMO seed can produce 10 times the results the local seed were producing. But here's what World Bank didn't tell Nigerian government, that the quality ginger they were offering them were GMO seed from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. Now, this is where it got interesting. They performed an experiment with the GMO seed. They planted and nurtured them for 30 days. And to be honest with you, the ginger grew faster than the local seeds. But here was where Bill Gates scammed us. After this experiment, his team stayed back in Nigeria for 5 years and the ginger business was booming. They were able to recoup their $200 million loan and they made a lot of profit. But after they had made their profit from the ginger business, the Bill Gates team in charge of the Ginger Appeal Project disappeared from Nigeria. This was where things got crazy. Nigerian farmers discovered that the ginger GMO seed needed a fungicide to grow, and Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation were the only company selling this fungicide in the whole world. Few months after they left Nigeria, they increased the price of that chemical by 300%. But that's not even the craziest part. If you try to use a replica chemical to grow the GMO ginger, it will die instantly. At this time, the Kaduna farmers couldn't afford the expensive fungicide for growing the GMO ginger seeds, and the local alternative seeds, Bill Gates had deceived them to throw them away, and these seeds needed no chemical to grow. All they needed was a fertile soil. From Nigeria being the second largest exporter of ginger in the whole world, as at today 2026, to meet local demand, we import ginger from China. That is why 4 kg ginger that was 5,000 naira 3 years ago is now sold at 35,000 naira. An industry that was exporting over 26 billion naira worth of ginger yearly now doesn't even have ginger seeds to plant.
Ginger is just one out of many GMO seeds that are being introduced into Africa and especially the Nigerian farm market. The whole aim is food control, food supply. Because if you have to buy seedless fruit and you have to go back to these corporations for the seed, and this automatically gives them the position to play God in the lives of men, and that is their aim. I need you to listen to the next video.
GMOs, genetically modified organisms. I would like our listeners to actually know what this is. This is taking a crop like maize, for example, and in the maize they can integrate one quality. In this case, they will say a drought-tolerant gene. But even though they say this, it has not been proven anywhere that this really works well. But let us assume, just for argument, that the quality is integrated in it. They also integrate a terminator gene. A terminator gene is a suicide gene which is integrated into this crop. So that means when you plant it and it grows into a full corn, if you take the seed from that corn and plant it again, it will not germinate. That's the second generation. You can't get another generation from it. So that one you've taken is the last one you can take in the series. So you have to go back to them to obtain again the seed in order to plant in the next season. So this will now make them totally in control of your food security. So that means anytime they don't give you seeds, you cannot have any food. So, and this is actually the main aim, the commercial drive, because they have now got you hooked up on the seed. You must come to them every planting season, so now they can be making money from it. That's the whole idea. Now you have now destroyed your natural crop. There is a company, American company called Epicite. Epicite invented a way to insert a gene that will sterilize people. If a man eats it, he becomes infertile. that means he cannot have children. So then this epicite gene was brought over by Monsanto. So when it was brought over by Monsanto, for the very purpose of inserting it in crops, so they now inserted it in Monsanto maize. This Monsanto maize was now grown and then actually put in practice. So the truth of the matter is that this is not some kind of conspiracy theory, or this is real fact. Epicite gene, Monsanto epicite gene exists. Now, why are they doing this? That's why even many legislators, many people say, okay, well, are they doing this just for money? Yes, it is for money, but even beyond that, what has happened to Nigeria? What the aim of these biotech companies is that they want to begin massive cloning of organs and tissues. The cloning industry is worth 30 trillion US dollars. 30 trillion is 1/3 of world economy. Why and how do they plan to do this? What they want to do is, if you go to the hospital and you have a heart disease, nobody is going to start giving you this drug. They foresee a future whereby, oh, if you have a heart disease, why don't we give you a new heart? So what the doctor has to do will be just to put an ultrasound device or whatever that will allow him to see the heart, and he will insert a small needle and take a cell from it. That cell can send back to the biotech companies. These biotech companies will take that cell from that diseased heart and insert it into an ovarian cell, the egg of a woman. So that ovarian egg will now be used to clone it in a tissue culture. So that heart cell that it took contains the genetic material of the heart of that person. Then the egg of the woman, who they take out the nucleus, will now be what will provide the tissue so it can grow into a heart. After culturing the heart, they send it back to the doctor for transplantation to that person. Maybe he paid the $5 million or $3 million, no matter the amount. So this business is looked at as the organ cloning business. Now, what did the West do? All their billionaires, all the big names you hear and all that, they invested in this. The big countries started invested in this. But the problem was, which country will women allow you to take their egg without permission? They say, well, wait a minute, there is the Nigeria. That Nigeria has 250 million people. And there is this area of their country that produces 70% of the tuber crops. That's the Northeast. So, so what we do? What we will do is that we will breed these mercenaries. Take them from Liberia, take them from Libya, take them from Chad, take them from Niger, and bring them and call them Fulani headsmen. So they breeded these people and called them Boko Haram. There is an insurgency, it's an Islamic fight, when most of these people have nothing to do with Islam. Some of them are just mercenaries who work for money. They were paying them as high as $10,000 a month for their offices. They breed them, they brought them through the borders of these countries surrounding us, Niger Republic, Chad, and some of those northern countries. They brought them in, and then they started this whole campaign called the Boko Haram. Who was training them? They have a private army. The private army is called Blackwater. Okay, they try to rename it XE Academy. No, the billionaires and the biotech companies bought this company, Blackwater.
Where is it based? The Blackwater?
It's an American company, security company. They were doing security work for Pentagon in Iraq, and those ones kick them out. When they kicked them out, when they found out they were causing the violence, they kicked them out. And why they were causing the violence was to prolong their contracts. So they kicked them out, and then they had nowhere to go, and the billionaires bought them. And then they started training these mercenaries.
So what you're saying in effect, sir, is that the Boko Haram fight we are experiencing in Nigeria is the result of the handiwork of
the BioTech companies.
BioTech companies.
It has nothing to do with any Islamic terrorism. Let me tell you why. You look at the statistics. There is this U.S. entity called Council on Foreign Relations, and they did an audit which was submitted by different bodies between 2015 and 2018. 37,500 people were killed by Boko Haram. 32,000 of those people were Muslims. 5,500 were Christians. So 85% of the victims were Muslims. Only 15% were Christians. And in states like Zamfara, 60% of the victims were Hausa. 40% were Fulani. So how can you want to spread Islam and you're killing 85% of Islamic people? It makes no sense. These people were mercenaries. Some of the mercenaries are even from South Africa. Some of them from different countries. So these mercenaries were brought in from everywhere and paid in order to come to Nigeria. This is the plan. This is what is fueling the violence. They are killing the natural seed growers who are their competitors. Bill Gates, or Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, gave a grant of 2 billion naira to Nigerian farmers, that this money will be used to pay the natural seed growers in their communities. So if the farmer of the farmers, we call them. So these farmers are those who grow the seeds which other farmers come to buy and then plant, but they are natural. So these natural seed growers, we are now told, we will pay you with anybody that comes. Don't bother collecting money from them. We will pay you as far as you register it and all that, and you register their numbers. So they gave them cell phones which are called electronic wallet to all the farmers. So 14 million cell phones were funded by Bill Gates. These cell phones have what we call the GPS and NFC technologies that can locate anybody from anywhere in the world to the nearest meter. So these farmers carried these cell phones and people were coming to buy from them. So with these cell phones, they could track the seed grower and of course the farmers who were carrying. So all the farmers who were carrying this so-called electronic wallet were being tracked all around the country. They knew who the seed growers were. So this data was passed on to these mercenaries who are called the so-called Boko Haram or herdsmen. They went using those coordinates to find the seed growers, kill them in their farms, and burn all their farms. And then the remaining of these farmers, they drove into IDP camps. Then they came as one NGO or the other, one international organization, and they came to the farms, to the camps, and gave them the so-called improved seeds. The improved seeds were the GMOs. Then the biotech companies' improved seeds were GMOs. They came to the farm. Well, we are trying to help you resettle and rehabilitate you. They gave them these improved seeds. So by so doing, they now haven't wiped out practically all the natural seed growers. Now driven the other farmers to the IDP camps, coming to the IDP camps, giving them these GMO seeds. Then they allow the farmers to go back to their farms and plant these GMO seeds. Immediately they have finished the first planting season, they have captured the food security. So because the next season they will need to go back to them. Now, what they plan going forward is that when they go back to them to ask for these seeds, they will tell them, okay, you have to pay 50,000 for a sachet. They say, oh no, we don't have 50,000. You say, you don't have 50,000. So okay, you know what we'll do? We'll tell you to go, your wife, your daughters, they should go to a nearby clinic, which they will tell them which, and then donate their ovarian eggs. because they need 100 million ovarian eggs to perfect a procedure we call somatic cell nuclear transfer. This somatic cell nuclear transfer is a way of taking the nucleus of the diseased organ and putting it in the ovarian egg and then letting it grow. That is a manual process, so it wastes a lot of ovarian eggs. So you can now see they want the women to be driven to fertility clinics so they can harvest the eggs. Now this is why they need to put mass sterilization, because that will only, the Boko Haram activity will only drive the farmers' wives and daughters to those fertility clinics. But the rest, if they now sell the food that has the gene inserted, the sterilization gene inserted, it will also drive every woman in Nigeria who has eaten that food, or every man, and then who has now become sterile. So when they go to that, when they eat this food and become sterile, they now have to go to the fertility clinics. When they get to the fertility clinic, trying to have a child. So while they go there, they will harvest maybe 10 eggs and then use 2 to try for them to have a child, and the remaining 10 they will sell to the BioTech companies. This is exactly what is happening in Nigeria right now. Right now, this is the plan. This is what is fueling the violence. They are killing the natural seed growers who are their competitors.